What is a seed? Where do they come from? And how does a seed turn into a plant? These are all great questions. We interact with seeds and plants every day, but may not realize how frequently these interactions happen. Seeds, plants, and products made from them are all around us. Most of our food comes from plants. Many things in your home and lots of clothes comes from plants too. If you go outside, you will see plants of all kinds. Trees, flowers, grass, crops, mushrooms. But we can explore that another time. Back to our questions. First, what is a seed? A seed is a package made by a plant that it uses to make new plants. Seeds come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes, but all have a few parts in common. All seeds contain a tiny baby plant called an embryo, food for the embryo, and a seed coat that protects the embryo, or baby plant, until it is time to grow into an adult. So how does a seed become a seedling? The embryo in a seed is a sleeping baby plant. That baby needs something to wake it up, a signal. Germination is the term for when a seed grows into a plant. Even though the embryo is teeny tiny, it is still great at detecting signals. Different seeds have different signals to wake up and start growing. Some detect light, some detect water, some detect temperature, hot or cold. Some require fire, and some even need to be eaten by an animal before they can germinate. Once the embryo detects the right combination of signals, it will start swelling as it soaks up water. This is called imbibition. After the seed soaks up enough water to split open the seed coat, a root will emerge. Roots can sense gravity and tend to grow down into the ground. We call this response gravitropism. Eventually, a stem and leaves will poke out and begin growing in the opposite direction towards light. This is called phototropism. It only requires a few things: seeds, water, paper towel or a coffee filter, and a clear container. For a container, we can use a ziplock bag, a cup, a CD case, or use your imagination. What can you find around your house? We want the seeds to be able to detect light through the container, so having a portion of it be clear is important. First, we will fit the paper towel into the container. I'm going to use a CD case. We put the seeds in between the towel and the container, so make sure there is room for them. Then we will add the seeds to the container. 3 to 5 seeds are a good amount, depending on the size of the container, but you can add more. We just don't want to crowd anything. I'm going to add radish and chia seeds here. They'll sprout pretty quickly, and it depends on what you use. They might take up to a week or two. After your seeds are tucked in, we will add water. Water will be the main signal for our seeds to germinate in this experiment, though they will detect light too. Too much water and the seeds might drown, and too little and they may dry out, but you can add more later. Adding just enough to keep the towel wet, but not so much that it's soaking. Depending on which container you use, you may wet the towel before you put it in the container if that's easier. But sometimes that makes things harder too. Let's close the container, and depending on what you're using, you can either poke some holes in it or leave the lid open a bit so that the seeds and seedlings can breathe. I think they'll be able to get enough ventilation in this container without leaving it open. There are plenty of ways to expand our seed germination experiment. The seedlings germinate differently depending on how much light they get. What if they germinate in a dark closet or even the refrigerator? Do different seeds require different amounts of time to germinate? Do large seeds germinate more quickly than small seeds, or vice versa? Are there ways we can test gravitropism or even phototropism with our experiment setup? Once your seedlings have germinated, after a week or so you can move them to a pot of soil or even outside into the garden, as long as it is warm out. Baby seedlings are delicate, so freezing weather will harm them. Make sure that the roots stay moist and covered in soil, and they will continue to grow. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions or would like to share your experiments with us, you can post on our Padlet.